Talk much and they think you are a fool. Be silent and they become curious. Oof. Are you curious? Was that silence? Was that silence too long? Because if this is a podcast and it's completely audio, you guys might have thought that the sound cut off or something cut off. But if not, I hope I left that impact on you. Because, when a person knows how to utilize silence effectively, you know you don't fucks with that, bro. You know when someone comes in, they just, they get the regular, salutations over, and then they stand there, waiting. You know what's going to feel like to you? It's going to feel like that they're waiting for you to say something. In a sense, they are. And if you do succumb to that feeling that they're waiting for something, do you know what that means? That means you are playing their game. Now, of course, the situations where there is silence isn't always like that, and it's not always about, let's say, establishing power. Because in the way that I understand this quote, it's definitely about skills and techniques to establish power, especially over a discussion or over just a meeting, a parlay, a conference. What it does for the one who can utilize the skill of silence, it shows confidence, comfort, and that they are willing to wait. When you're willing to wait, that means you're, in a sense, on the attack. It's a sense of oppression, even. But it all depends, because, of course, as a battle continues to unfold, sometimes waiting isn't always the best tactic. And there's many other factors that get involved with a battle, whether it be physical, verbal, spiritual. There are lots of powers and lots of different factors that get involved. But let me reread the quote. Talk much and they think you are a fool. Be silent and they become curious. I'm not sure who this one is by, but I got this off Instagram, as most of these Phlopy quotes come from, and there's a picture of Bruce Lee. At least I think that's Bruce Lee. It looks like Bruce Lee, but this Bruce Lee has a lot of facial hair. Like, he's got like a rough, rugged mustache and lots of like facial hair going on. Maybe it's not Bruce Lee and I'm just racist and I can't recognize a Chinese looking man from a dude with small eyes. But I don't know, man. He's got that Bruce Lee-ness to me. He's like flowing like water. But since they used a picture of a character who seems confident, because in that image this guy was confident, I'm pretty sure it's Bruce Lee. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does look confident. It does explain a lot of what the intention of whoever posted this quote, whoever is trying to show this quote to others, it shows the intention that was trying to be portrayed. And that was one of power and the use of silence to establish power. Oof. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people and the way they talk. I've had to interact with a lot of people in different specific sort of matters. Some, well, a lot related to battle, confrontations, arguments, in a sense. Maybe that's the simplest way to say it. And when I do have to engage with a lot of individuals, let's just say I know that they're not the best spokesmen. They are, how do I say this, respected among their peers, but they may not be the best spokesmen. Simply their tribe just go, oh yeah, which one of us is the strongest tribe member? And they all look to the strong one or like the leader, and then they all just chuck him in front, and then that's the one that has to talk. Usually he is the best to talk, because everyone else does lack the courage to meet a confronting discussion. But I can tell, like, yo, this isn't a spokesman, because a lot of, whether this is like at a workplace, or I'm approaching a company because I need something from them, or friends, or whatever, even family members, insecurity becomes very clear when silence seems to make them uncomfortable. The insecurities become obvious because, as this quote says, a lot of people just try to say a lot, and then a lot of what they're saying is either meaningless or has nothing to do with what we're talking, or is irrelevant. And the other thing that becomes clear is what they're saying has no depth to it. No, not no depth. What they're saying, they clearly haven't thought about. They're speaking for the sake of speaking. That's similar to another philosophical quote. Something along the lines of, I can't remember what the whole quote was, but the main premise that I got from it was, fools talk, or idiots talk because they want to be heard. Or like, they talk because like, they feel like they should talk. Whereas wiser people only talk when necessary. And that's kind of what this quote is also saying. When you, that silence that you could display, it will show that you only need to talk when necessary. Each of your words is going to be completely effective because you will only utilize it and express them at the appropriate moment, or at the effective moment. For example, once, a particular area of the discussion is being discussed, and it's time that you show your opinion or your point of view, or what examples or explanations you have, you'll lay it out. And you'll only have to say what needs to be said. One of the powers of only having to speak when necessary and only saying what needs to be said is it gives less of the other party. It gives them less to use against you. It gives them fewer things to use against you, and fewer things that they can manipulate and construe to, create an argument against you. Which is kind of sad. I do that sometimes. Sometimes when someone says a particular line, because I'm very particular with how English is written or spoken, I can use that against them. Even though they may not have intended the meaning that they express, they spoke their point in that certain way that, in a sense, I can use it against them. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, it's very effective because it shows who's really in control of this conversation, who's truly the one who can judge the depth of this conversation, who has the upper hand here, who has control. If I can change what you said to me, or if I can render whatever you said to me as ineffective, who do you think truly has the control here? I want anyone out there to tell me otherwise. And if not, well, I'm not sure if that was a good example of using silence. But it's about getting the discussion under your control and you controlling the flow. When you can control the flow of the discussion, when you can ensure that people will listen to you, when you can create that anticipation with only saying things that are relevant, things that are effective, things that are powerful, and not have to say them so often, people will tune into you when you look like you're ready to speak again. And amazingly enough, if you have a good conversational prowess, I don't think I said that right. When you know how to engage in discussions well, and you don't have to say much because you only need to say what's necessary, especially saying what's necessary to establish a bit more control over the conversation, people are paying attention to you whether you're saying anything or not. I know it. I'm used to it. I'm very used to people always observing me and watching me, no matter where I go. I don't know. It's just, apparently it's my face or it's my eyes. People just can't help, or my expression. People can't just help but just, I don't know, pay attention to me. It's kind of annoying. I'm sure people are always intimidated by my presence. One reason why I think that, and I'm not boasting here. Well, of course it's a boast. I'll admit that. But I have to explain. One thing I do notice that makes it clear that people are intimidated is because a lot of people, especially men, when I'm around, whether I know everyone around there or not, I'm probably in a public place and I don't know many people, or I don't know anyone. For some reason, there's always those fellas or those people that they try to come across me and prove that they are tough. And they mainly do it to me. They either try to display it around me so I'll notice how tough they are. Like they'll engage with someone who doesn't seem that powerful and maybe like nudge them, and then when the weak person reacts to getting pushed, they're like, what are you going to do about it? Like they bully others. They try to show that they are tough by bullying others, or by trying to seem tough in front of me, like they're not scared of me. Like they'll walk past me and like they'll tense up and buff themselves up. And it's weird because it's like, wait, is this guy hitting on me or something? Like, why is he trying to show me how big his muscles are and how tough his walk is? It's weird to me, honestly. But I understand it. Most of the time, they are trying to prove that they are better somehow. I don't know why, but I get a lot of that. For those who don't completely understand what I'm saying, or think like, oh nah, you're just like talking shit, you're just trying to make yourself sound good. An example that everyone can understand. In case you don't understand what this example is, like for especially for men, I don't know how women are like this, but for men, men will understand this when you go to the gym. When you go to the gym and someone walks past you, for some reason they all just gotta prove that like they're bigger and stronger and show that they're more muscly. I don't know. It's kind of pathetic. It's cool as well. Like when someone that tries to walk past me and they actually got like a beautiful physique and nice posture and they actually clean the face, like they actually look damn good. I respect that. That's cool. I'm like, man, I think to myself, damn, he looks good. Like that's something to look up to. So I give him that praise. I don't say that, but I'll give him that praise, and he'll probably be in the back of his mind like, yeah, that guy saw me and he thought I was cool and awesome. But when we're at a coffee shop or we're at the train station or something and people are trying to be like that to me as well, or we're at a bar, it happens a lot at bars actually. You guys might understand this when you go out in the nightlife, there's heaps of this. Because, when people are drunk, they have to prove that they're tough. I've done it sometimes. Not often, though. It's not my style. I'm more one of those... How do I say this? I'm just concerned with my own fun rather than trying to prove something to people that don't matter. But it happens a lot. People try to walk around like they're the toughest. So everyone notices that they're so tough. And then for some reason, they always have to prove it to me. People always have to prove it to me. At first, I always thought people just didn't like me. And they just, I don't know, they just hated me or something. And it happens to me a lot, especially when, because even though you guys might think like I'm very outspoken and I'm an extrovert and all that, I'm also like an introvert in a sense, where I stay silent often. And when I'm always in a new place, I'm always observing. I'm always scanning the field. I don't know, it's just one of my, it's my nature. I'm just used to scanning the field and seeing who's there, who's not. People I have to worry about, like people trying to prove themselves tough, people that are loud and troublemaking, the people that are actually tough, and of course, the available goods that may be lingering around. Not that I'm after anything, but like the boys, might want to know, like, is this a good place or not? I just want to know if I'm in a comfortable place or not. That's the main thing. And, lo and behold, there's always going to be those people that notice me and then they're like, and then they have to walk around me and like prove to their boys that they can walk in front of me and like not be worried or anything. Like I cared, or I was trying to scare them anyway. Like sometimes I go, yo, what's up? And then they're like, or sometimes when I do catch them, I go, yo, what's up? And they're like, oh, yo. And then I could tell, like, oh, I caught them off guard. Like, and then that strong persona that they try to hold, it's gone. And they're like, oh. I don't know. It's kind of funny. The ones who are more confident in themselves, if I go, hey, what's up? They go, yo, what's up? And then, awesomely enough, we can have an awesome conversation. And I'm not going to try to pull off that talking too much to look like a fool or being silent to make them curious. Or sometimes. The art of conversation, is quite intricate. It's quite fun. But other than that, what this quote is trying to say, I'm trying to point out the idea of insecurity. Because those fools that do try to show that they're tough to me, because I don't know why people have to always show that they're tough in front of me. I got no idea why. But they are insecure. They don't feel like they're truly strong unless they prove it in front of the tough guy. Or if they can show that they can, show no fear in front of a monster or someone intimidating, then, oh yeah, I must be tough and everyone must see that I'm tough. It's pretty insecure. Because a true man of true power, and yes, women as well. I'm just using the English language here. A true man with true power and true confidence, they don't need to prove it in front of everyone, because they are comfortable enough with themselves, and they are comfortable enough to just exist where they are. There's nothing to prove, because they already accept themselves. They already accept who they are. They find no shortcomings that are necessary to mask. They just know who they are. They know what they're capable of, or what they're willing to get involved in or not. That's for those who are insecure about things. Like, you have to accept this while I talk about this. Or you should find some acceptance after you do some introspection. For those who are a bit insecure, especially when there's tough people around or not, do the introspection and understand under different common scenarios and situations, what is it that you want to do the most? In these situations, I'm obviously talking about you either fight or flight or freeze. If you know you don't want to get involved in trouble, then you stay out of trouble, and if trouble tries to engage with you, just de-escalate the situation. Don't provoke, and make it clear that, you want no trouble, and try to evacuate or escape the situation. Simple as that. And yeah, just understand what it is you're willing to do. If you're willing to fight, which I don't ever encourage, especially because you'll get in trouble if you live here in Australia, because there's a lot of snitches and a lot of cameras and all that stuff. It's just not good. And besides, if you're not a fighter, like, you don't know what the hell could happen. You don't know what danger you can get involved in. But I'm just saying, if you're willing to stand up for yourself or your peoples or whoever or your woman, understand what you're willing to get yourself involved in and what you're willing to get others around you involved in. You should be wise and informed enough to be able to make those kind of decisions. Because if you're still not sure, you might see someone like me and all of a sudden think like, I have to show that I'm still confident around everyone, and try to prove something to me. And if it's not me and it's actually some bad, troublemaking, big, ugly brute, and you trigger him, you better be ready for whatever happens. But yeah, don't get involved with people that, if you can't tell, that are obviously a danger to society. I'm not a danger to society, am I? I don't think I am. I think I'm a blessing, because I'm here trying to explain some philosophical quotes, and look at me now going too far with a tangent that kind of steered away from the actual quote I'm trying to discuss. The power of silence in a discussion. When you utilize silence, as I said, it shows control, because it shows that you're in a position where you're not worried about who moves you or not. You don't need to move because you're already firm. And if you're already firm, it, in a sense, displays that you're in a position to observe, and you're in a more observant position. People don't like my eyes because I do analyze and scan people, and they get very insecure. Most men, especially out in those scenarios I was explaining, they're like, "What the fuck are you looking at? And I was like, dude, you got a nice belt. Like, I was just curious, and like, I like how it matched your shoes. I'll just say that just to not be provoking. Even though I was looking at him like, oh man, this guy looks like he's gonna like try to hit on my girlfriend or something, or like he looks like he wants to start trouble if he has a few more drinks. You know, I'm trying to see how safe everything is around. But of course, you know, I know I'm polite enough not to look at people too long. I've done this long enough to know how to do it, to not make people feel uncomfortable. But yeah, sometimes I do scan a person and observe them because they look like the type that wants to start trouble. And sadly, the troublemaker that I am, I do try to provoke them with some true display of might and power. Oh my god, I can't believe I just confessed that. I think I should not talk too much right now. Or should I? Because in a sense, maybe I'm letting everyone know what I could be doing. It might make things easier for me. It might help me get things straight to the point. So if you do catch me looking at you, I am either trying to acquire some knowledge in fashion, or maybe I'm waiting for you to break. Maybe. Or there is something that you need to say to me. And in a sense, I'll remind you that I'm waiting. For those not involved in the discussion and noticing someone establishing that sense of control in an engagement, of course, everyone's watching. This guy is controlling it. What's he gonna do next? What's he gonna say next? Damn, that shit he said before was pretty deep. Oof. I wonder what he's gonna say next. I wonder what he's trying to achieve. They all become curious. I don't know, it's interesting. Anyway, I should probably wrap it up before I get into more discussions of these things that I'm actually not trying to teach. I'm just trying to teach some philosophical ass quotes. I'm not actually trying to teach power or confidence or rhetoric or anything. Well, at the same time, all of that is involved. But hey, when you speak too much, when you try to say too much, especially things that you weren't actually prepared to say, things you actually haven't thought through thoroughly, you're gonna look like a fool. Because fools say too much. Fools always try to prove something. Whatever needs to be proven can always be said concisely. If you know it truly, you shouldn't need too many words. Because if anyone wants to know more, they'll ask. Oof. And when you're waiting for people to ask, people will soon understand that you're the expert and you're the one who should be asked. I'll leave it at that. Signing out.